Fantastic. Okay. Listen, we're Aero Minerals. We're listed on the ASX. We're quite different from the company you just heard about. We have no resource or reserves. We're in the early exploration stage. And I just want to talk to you about exploration in general because the way I look at exploration is it's challenging, it's difficult to do, but you need four things. You need resources, financial and human. You need assets, you need the technology, and you have to be able to implement your strategy. And I think that it's fair to say we've put together something that has all four of those components. We have a good group of people. We have some projects both in Western Australia and West Africa. We like to stick with the WA moniker on all those. We have an alliance with a driller, so we have guaranteed access to drilling. And we're doing okay financially. We have about $2 million of resources to get our exploration done. As I said, we have people who have experience in BHP, Western mining, gold fields, and corporate people from Saracen and ex-Macquarie. So we have a good group of people that know what they're doing in the exploration and development space. And this is really this is my slide. Tells you exactly what we're doing. At the same scale here, you have the West African Craton, and you have the Yilgarn Craton. Yilgarn's about 1 billion years older, but the rocks look remarkably the same. You have the same greenstone belts. You even have vaguely the same direction. And all the ore deposits there are on the greenstone belts, and they're on the structures that cut through the greenstone belts. So targeting here is challenging, but we have a pretty good idea how to do it. And what we've got is assets in West Africa and Western Australia that I think are showing good potential for exploration and discovery. So I'm going to start with Burkina Faso. There's been some, obviously, I think it's on tips of everybody's tongue, some very, very profoundly sad news recently from the part of Burkina Faso that's seen trouble for the last 18 months to 2 years, and which is, there's no way to make that good news, but the best news for us personally is that we have very consciously done our work 500 kilometers away from where most of these troubles are, which tend to exploit local ethnic tensions. And we feel, I'm going there next week, we feel that it's a very comfortable place to work and will continue to be so unless there are radical changes. And you can see this graphically in this map here. You can see, in fact, for your information, at the very eastern part of the country, above the word Benin, is where the attack occurred recently. Where we are, on the other hand, is from the Bolsa in the center of the country on this Marcoy Fault that's very prospective, all the way down to the southwest. And we're, in fact, we're rolling out a drill rig as soon as the hydraulic cooler gets repaired. We're rolling out a rig in the next couple of days. So we've got 5 tenement blocks here, all pretty early stage exploration. We've done a bit of drilling in the ones called Divole East and West. The others are actively having work on the ground. So this is Divole East and West. You can see the black and red are the permits that we have 100% owned by our company. Some have been granted, some we've paid the final granting fee, and they haven't been formally granted. But the important thing here is you have an orange circle there on the left where we're planning on drilling in the next few days. Have green circles where we've done drilling previously. And these are classic Birimian shear-hosted mineralization with some really interesting laminated quartz veins of the type that at places like Yaramoko host plus 10 grams per ton gold deposits. So to zoom in to Divole East, where we've done some drilling, you can see on the right-hand blow-up map there, a lot of circles. The solid ones are all areas where we've hit gold mineralization. So on our first try, we've hit 3 mineralized zones. We have to go back in and do some infill drilling, but we're getting results like 10 meters at 4.5 grams, 17 meters at 1.2, the kind of things that if we can find the continuity, will turn into a resource. Now, about 7 kilometers to the west is an area that we didn't go to last year because the the rains came. And people talk about risks in West Africa. One of the big risks we're finding is we can't predict when the rains are going to start and when they're going to stop. We expected the rains to stop a month ago, and the roads have just now dried out enough for us to get down there. So we'll be hitting down there to this property called Divole West. And on the left, you can see some geochemistry, which is always nice to see red dots in the geochemistry, 100 to 500 ppb rather. But on the right-hand slide, you can see a whole bunch of auger drilling results. We drilled through the cover, the transported cover, the laterite into the top meter of the in situ saprolite. And before I came here to join Aero this past year, I spent the last 4 years in Moscow working for Nordgold, which is another story that I'd be happy to tell you over a beer. That was pretty entertaining. But one of the things I did with this Russian company was worked a lot in Burkina Faso, where they have 3 mines. And we drilled a lot of auger holes. And it's pretty rare to see auger holes with 4 grams, 3 grams, 6 grams over a couple of kilometers like this. So we're not going to do anything very clever or smart. We're going to go down there with a drill rig in the next couple of days and drill underneath these results. So we expect to see something underneath these gold anomalies. And then, of course, in the center of the country, we have a permit that's recently been granted, and we're out there as I speak doing some stream sediment sampling to try to narrow that down to a target. So that's sort of what we're doing in Burkina. So we've got the resources. We're using state-of-the-art geochemical techniques. We've got the assets, and I think we're implementing our plan in all these things in Africa. But it's always good to have Plan B, and that's why we're also in Western Australia. Here we have 3 projects. Our main project is Strickland Gold, where we're doing exactly the same thing we're doing in Africa, which is aggressively doing work on the ground to generate targets. Melinda Lithium will probably be vending that out. We're in discussions with some people to try to get some value for that. And Plum Ridge Nickel is a JV with IGO. We are a 10% contributing partner there. Quick look at Strickland. It looks remarkably like our Burkina Faso projects in that it's in greenstone belts with a significant structural component. This is a really interesting place. We just had a panel here talk about Western Australia and how it's, even though it's a good place to look for gold, it's been beaten to death. And one nice thing about this particular part of the Yilgarn is that it's always been explored for iron ore. There's been no gold exploration here at all until we came. And we're in the process of reevaluating the data that Aero has put together over the last few years. And we'll be coming out with an exploration program in the coming weeks. So we're excited about this as well. And the beauty of it is we sort of have cricket season in Australia and football season in Africa, so the field seasons don't overlap, so we can keep busy all year long. So we think that we've got the resources and the assets. We think that we're applying the technology right. We're doing a lot of work in a lot of places with a reasonable amount of money, but we're doing it efficiently. We're working our way down from the upper left to the lower right on this little waterfall. After we do the Strickland reanalysis and the drilling that we're doing, everything's results dependent, of course. We'll be probably looking to raise some money next year. And we think that with these 4 components put together, we have a recipe for success. Thanks.